I'm Helen Ginaldi, Senior Professor at Cold Stone University. In this lesson, we'll learn all about rotation and restocking products used on the stone. So come along, let's get it done. Working behind the stone requires close attention to the condition of the ghiya, the ice cream, and pan levels. When the bottom surface of a low pan becomes visible, it's time to replace it with a fresh pan of ice cream. Rotating pans should never be delayed because pulling ice cream from a low pan takes more time and the visual appearance of the ice cream will not please customers. First, move to the walk-in freezer to retrieve a fresh pan of the appropriate flavor. If you find several pans with your flavor, compare dates on the parchment paper. Remember to observe FIFO rotation by using the pan with the oldest date first. Next, remove parchment paper in the back room, then take the pan to the front. Set the full pan aside at the ghiya and remove the low pan. Combine the pans by packing ice cream from the low pan on top of the full pan. Fluff the ice cream to blend the look and give it a wavy, fresh appearance. Finally, take the empty pan to the 3-compartment sink for washing. The procedure for rotation of mix-in jars is very important because it restocks our dry nuts and candy, is consistent with FIFO rotation, and prepares the stone for products ready to use. Whenever we consider rotation of mix-in jars, we should also think about the age of the product and the restocked portions we are using. If hard candies or nuts become stale or discolored, they can seriously affect the flavor and appearance of the creation, so those should be discarded and replaced with new products immediately. The process for mix-in jar rotation is the same for all mix-in products and the procedure is fairly simple. First, identify any jar on the primary stone that is less than half full. Next, pour the contents of that jar into the jar on the secondary stone of the same product. For example, the contents of a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup jar on the primary stone should be added into the top of a Reese's jar on the secondary stone. This ensures FIFO rotation because items filled at the top of the jar will be used first. The now full jar is then placed back into position on the primary stone, ready to use. Remove the empty jar and take it to the 3-compartment sink to wash and sanitize. Finally, refill clean jars to about half full and place them on the secondary stone. If the secondary stone will be in use, the jar should be filled about 3/4 full. When a camber with fruit or pie filling becomes so low that it cannot serve a single portion size, it needs to be replaced. To avoid cross-contamination, old product on the stone cannot be combined with new. Instead, remove the empty cambro and replace it with a new prepped cambro from the backline refrigerator. Remember FIFO, check the dates on the prepped cambros using the oldest first. Remove the plastic wrap, place a clean and sanitized short-handled spoon in the container, and replace the plastic lid. Take the empty cambro and used spoon to the 3-compartment sink for washing. Just like fruit, to avoid cross-contamination, cookie dough on the stone cannot be combined with new backup dough. Instead, when the cambro is empty, remove and replace it with a fresh cambro from the backline reach-in refrigerator. Take the empty cambro to the 3-compartment sink for washing. Yellow cake on the stone cannot be combined with backup cake. Instead, remove the cambro when it's empty. Replace with a prepped cambro from the backline reach-in refrigerator. Since we cannot FIFO marshmallows, do not mix old on top of new. When the crock of marshmallows is almost empty and you cannot spoon out a single portion size, or if the marshmallows appear dry, hard, or all stuck together, it's time to rotate them out. First, take the container to the 3-compartment sink to be washed. Next, fill a clean and sanitized black spoon crock container with mini marshmallows. Place a lid on the crock and it's ready to use. Keep an eye on peanut butter because over time the oil tends to separate from the butter. Use a clean and sanitized rubber spatula to stir the product to make it nice and creamy. For food safety reasons, we do not FIFO peanut butter in the service crock. This means we never add old on top of new. Instead, continue to use it up until the peanut butter falls to a level that is difficult to spoon from the container. Then it's time to replace. Take the container to the 3-compartment sink for washing. Use a clean spade or spatula to transfer peanut butter from the peanut butter tub into a fresh, clean, sanitized black crock container. Place a lid on the crock and it's ready to use.
When a caramel bottle gets empty or it takes too long to get the product out of the bottle, it's time for a fresh bottle. We cannot FIFO caramel, so we do not mix old with new. Instead, we'll replace the bottle with a fresh one. First, take the empty bottle to the back room to get washed and sanitized. Next, fill a clean and sanitized bottle with new caramel. Use a funnel or a cone jacket with an opening in the bottom and fill the bottle until full. Place a clean lid on the bottle. Place any leftover caramel into a Cambro. Seal the Cambro with plastic wrap over the top and a lid. Date the Cambro with today's date for FIFO purposes. Place it on the shelf to be used first when filling bottles again.
When a fudge bottle becomes empty or it takes too long to get the product out of the bottle, it's time for a fresh one. We cannot FIFO fudge bottles, so do not mix old with new. Instead, we'll replace the bottle with a fresh one. First, take the empty bottle to the back room to be washed in the 3-compartment sink. Next, fill a clean, sanitized bottle by pumping hot fudge in it. Place a clean lid on the bottle and it's ready to use.
When the level of hot fudge gets relatively low, usually an inch or so from the bottom, it's time to fill it up. Pour new fudge into the hot fudge warmer. Place any leftover fudge into a clean Cambro. Seal the Cambro with plastic wrap and a lid. Date the Cambro with today's date for FIFO purposes and place it back on the shelf to be used first when filling hot fudge again.
The chocolate warmer is always left turned on and always at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. After dipping cones, we refill it for the next day. Using a measuring cup, transfer the dipping chocolate wafers to the dipping chocolate warmer until they reach the fill line. Any leftover chocolate wafers are placed into a large Cambro with a lid. Date the Cambro with today's date for FIFO purposes and place it on the shelf with dry goods storage until needed.